So what I'd like you to do at this point is I'd like you to open up the sidebar over here and rename this playground page into something called variables and constants. And we're going to create a new page after that to add some extra code. So I'm going to tap and hold on this, choose rename. I'm going to rename this to variables and constants. And I'm going to add a new page. There's no add page button. You have to first tap on edit, then choose plus, and you can rename this to exercise 1. Let's press done. And inside exercise 1, I'd like you to type out some code, as you can see on the screen right now. So type out this code. It'll give you some errors when you try and run it. Can you fix the code so that Swift doesn't give you any errors? Right? There are many ways you can do this. As long as there are no errors, it's fine. I do realize that if you delete all the code, there will be no errors. That's not how I want you to fix it. So just be aware that you should try and fix it using a Swift way. If you want to get the code typed out for you, it's really just a bit of code. Type it out yourself. Okay, fine. You can go to the description and we should have a link for you to download this little snippet of code. So please pause the video right now and give it a try. I'll see you soon. Okay, I'm back. Did you pause the video or did you just stare at my stupid smiling face for 2 seconds? You didn't pause the video. All right, so let's go fix up this piece of code over here. I don't actually have it on my screen, so I will be hardworking and type out my code. So var potatoes equals to 10. And here's one thing about playground pages. You can actually navigate between them by tapping on the little arrows next to them. Tap on this. And it also means that every playground page has its own set of variables. So I could rename something as, am I hungry over here if I really wanted to, okay? So I'm going to say var temperature int equals 30.5. And you already know that this is going to be an error, right? So let bananas equals to 20. Let name equals to Mr. Potato Head. I don't actually know who came up with all this nonsense variable names. Bananas equals to 10. Name equals to 10. And here's one other error that might show up as you're typing. If you just type really slowly, right, it's going to complain because Swift is very enthusiastic about spotting errors. It's kind of like, like someone who can't wait for you to make a mistake. It's like, oh, here we go. There's no such thing as spot. All right, so just, it's okay. Some of these errors are not actual errors. Just type calmly, calm the inner voice in your head and continue. Okay, so here we go, right? Var potatoes equals to 10. For temperature, so on and so forth. Let's go through the errors one by one. Let's tap on this thing over here and see. Cannot convert value of type double to specified type int. Okay, so the suggestion once again is to insert this int bracket, which is to cast it, but that's not what we want, right? Maybe we really want the temperature to be 30.5. So instead of that, we can just type var temperature double. Okay, and that should actually fix your code right here. You can also just delete the entire type annotation because var temperature equals 30.5 will change it to a double. Okay, let's go to the next line. What could be wrong with let bananas equals 20? Well, it's not just this line, right? It's the line further down that says bananas equals to 10. Okay, so you can't have a let over here and then change it to 10 later on. So there are two ways to fix it. One is you delete this line that says bananas equals to 10. Or you can change let into var. So this really depends on what your intention is with this variable. I'm just going to press fix and let it be. Next up, I'm going to go change this line of code. Again, this is something to do with constants and variables. It says let name equals Mr. Potato Head and then tries to change name. So you know what? Let's accept the fix and say, okay, let's change this to a var. Sure, no problem. But now there's another error. It says name equals to 10 and what type is name? Right, please answer this in your head. You can yell it at your screen while I'm talking. Thank you. Name is a string, but you're trying to assign an int into it. So you can't do that. If you really wanted to, you could add double quotes around this 10. And notice that when I tried to type an opening double quote, it closed it. So that's kind of annoying, but that's fine. So you can just type 10 inside double quotes. And now your name has become 10. Whose name is 10? Actually, whose name is Mr. Potato Head? Nobody knows. Notice that these two are actually very different, right? This line here, this name over here, and this bananas, right? One is an integer representation of 10, and one is a string representation of 10. One of these can be multiplied by 2, but not the other, right? You can probably guess which. It's bananas. Bananas can be multiplied by 2. Okay, last error over here. This one says potatoes equals 10.99. How do we fix that? Let's first look at the error and say cannot assign value of type double to type int. Again, potatoes is an integer to begin with, and we actually want to try and put in a double. So if we do that, right, if we do int bracket 10.99, right, as suggested, and if you run your code, let's see what happens. Do you think it becomes 11 or 10? Well, first I gotta run my code. Okay, so do you think it becomes 11 or 10? Let's tap on it to find out. It's 10, right? That's because the casting is a type of truncation, right? Casting is a type of truncation. It doesn't actually round it for you, okay? However, if you actually want to let potatoes become 10.99, I'm not sure how you have 10.99 potatoes. You could just undo this and declare potatoes as a double, right? Which is similar to what we did in the example early on. That's it. That's it for this section on variables, constants, and I guess comments. I'm not sure why this error is still here, but I guess, it's kind of nice to have it stick around and pretend that I still have some problems. I'll see you in the next section.